And so read the rest of the story to find out what happened.
Yes, read the best. Welcome. This is Terri Gillespie, and welcome to Author, A to A with Terri Gillespie. And I am so excited about this month's interview and this author. I've been a long time fan of her books. So for her to make time in her busy schedule to talk with us, so excited. Now, Robin Jones Gunn is a multi-award winning best-selling author of both YA and women's contemporary. And I fell in love with her women's contemporary, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. So I just wanted to encourage you to be sure and like, comment, share, because we want more and more people to learn about Robin's newest book. And if you've never read any of Robin's books, you are going to be a fan, especially if you're one who loves sisterhood books. So, and by the way, if you're not a subscriber, be sure and click on the red subscribe button, and it will do you good when it comes time for the giveaway. Oh, and when the white bell appears, click on that and you won't miss any episodes. So, are you ready to meet this inspiring, talented, amazing woman of God and author, Robin Jones Gunn? Welcome, Robin.
There we go. I love it when technology works, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me to be on your program, and good for you for all you're doing to really help. We want people to have the option of all the really good, wholesome books to read and the stories to put in their hearts, and you're making that happen. And I just applaud you. Well done.
Thank you. I like that. Put those stories in our heart, because that's what your books did for me. And we're sharing before the interview, a very, very dear friend of mine. So I can't wait to talk about this. So, Robin, you are a successful, very busy author and wife and mother and grandmother.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So, how can my viewers keep in touch with you or keep in touch with, follow what you're doing right now?
Simple, simple. My website, just robingunn.com, robingunn.com. And then you can link in, I think the easiest way is to link into the shop. And my online shop has all kinds of free downloads. You can get a book list of all the books, and you can get also free discussion questions for many of the books. And that's kind of the easiest way. And then, of course, Instagram and Facebook. I'm kind of easy to find, but yeah.
Well, and all those links will be down below in the description section. So it'll make it easy for you to follow Robin along. Follow along, Robin. Yes, I are a writer. So it's really important, especially when an author has a brand new book. It's so helpful when you post about it and share about it, put those hashtags up there. It really does make a difference to get the word out on their book. And I'll also have the link to my top picks for November, where I'll feature Robin's book, as well as some other books, fine books that I fell in love with as well. So, Robin, your book and your new series, I am so excited about it. since for over 20 years, I have been a fan of the Sister Chick series, beginning with On the Loose, which was hysterical. I mean, it was absolutely hysterical. And but it was also extremely meaningful. And that's the fun thing. You're able to bring in fun, you'll be able to bring in faith messages and real live issues that women of any age deal with, but especially women that are a little on the far side of 25. So
I like
um
that far side.
So when I heard that you were doing a new Sister Chick like series, I got so excited. So, and I let my friend know that she's doing another series. So Tea with Elephants was amazing. I love going on adventures with you and your characters because they're so different. Now, my question is, did you actually go on a safari?
I did. I've been to Africa twice, to Kenya both times. I taught at a writers conference, international writers conference in Nairobi, and I have a Kenyan friend that I've known for 30 years that I met at another conference in England, and we just stayed close friends. And so when I was planning to go to the first conference, Wambura said, "Okay, I want to just stay longer because I want to take you to this hotel up in the treetops on Mount Kenya." And you look out your hotel room window, and there's a watering hole, and you can watch all the animals come to the watering hole. And then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, this hotel had at the very top floor a special afternoon tea. And so we put on our nicest blouses and put on a scarf, and we went up to the very top of the treetops, and we were the only ones there, and a server came with a white towel over his arm and poured tea for us, and we looked down at the watering hole, and I said, "Oh, look at us having tea with elephants." And Wambora said, "Oh, you remember
Uh,
that title? You're gonna that's I think you're gonna use that one day." And then the second time I went, she invited 5 women all together. There were 5 of us all
oh,
together, and we all are involved in publishing. One is the president of a publishing house in the Philippines, and so this global group of women, and we went on a safari that was just remarkable, remarkable. So I always knew I would write about Africa one day. And then this opportunity came to do a new series with Revell Publishers, which has been so wonderful because they really get it. Like you're
yeah,
saying, sisterhood books, and like, yeah, let's do this. So Suitcase Sisters was born as a series, and the first one, Tea with Elephants, just came out a month ago.
yeah, October 15th. So go to whatever outlet. We'll have a link to Revell, and Revell has links to all the different retail outlets so that you can pick and choose the one you want. So I think, and by the way, I have a friend who lives in Nairobi too.
Really?
Yeah, she used to work for me when I worked for a ministry in Philadelphia. Her name is Vera, and so she's brilliant woman, just brilliant. Um, so tucked away in your pages, you have such a beautiful way of bringing sights and sounds and smells, and um, I can almost smell the gaminess of the animals. And but really, you have such a way of bringing that faith journey into these stories and discussing things that we might not normally think we should discuss. And I think it's so important that we as women who believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and whose Messiah is Jesus, yes, we should be able to talk about anything that we need to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that the way that we are and you know this, to be privileged to be a storyteller and to be able to do that in a book is just such um, a unique way to communicate truth so that it's gentle, conversational, and the reader feels like, oh, that's me. I need to pay attention to that, or this is something that I thought the Lord was kind of prompting me to think about, but now I'm seeing these characters work through that same situation. So it's like role modeling for the reader
Mm,
to draw
mm,
near to God in all seasons of life. Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, it's just it's almost like a parable. It's like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I love that. Now, how is why is that sisterhood theme so important to you?
Because we all need friends. And I think when we went through the pandemic, we didn't realize how much it affected us as we were coming back out of our caves, that we had lost that face to face and that close communication. And so I recently heard from a group that was starting a book club for the first time, and they were going to use tea with elephants. And it was such a victorious thing for them because they felt like we used to get together and do things, and we just never got back in the rhythm after being so closed off in our own little lives. And now everyone's so excited to be able to be back in community again. And that's so important for us. So that sisterhood is that sense that we are coming alongside each other and encouraging each other and helping each other in difficult times, but then also the importance of that laughter, the delight that friendship brings. And I think that was really diminished during globally. And so anything that can bring us back to that is really important, really important.
I agree. And I think women can build relationships with people who are so different from
Yes.
themselves. Yes. And I think of unity and how important unity is in the body. And um, one of the most beautiful examples of unity is between a Jewish mother-in-law and a woman who had been a pagan, and that's Ruth and Naomi. And what we have is a true sense of unity. And what happened was um, it changed all of our lives
Yeah.
because of that unity.
That's a great point.
Yeah. So
And it's
having,
love. It's just that love that comes through when the friendship is allowed to grow, and there's vulnerability and there's trust
mm,
and there's just this infusion of hope. And it links you, it binds you together.
yes, yes, love it. So I read the first paragraph of Tea with Elephants on my top picks episode, but as you can imagine, viewers much rather hear the author's voice. So, Robin, would you read an excerpt?
You asked me to think about this ahead of time, and this is a little odd, but I'm going to pick up the very last bit of chapter 9 and then just roll
Ooh,
into the beginning of chapter 10. So,
ooh,
yes, a little different, but um, so here we go. I tightened the sash on my robe and let her lead. With the towel still wrapped around my head, I followed her to the balcony door. She opened it, and the sound of the rain filled our cozy space. We exchanged questioning glances, and without hesitation, Lily and I stepped out into the rain in our robes. We laughed and turned our faces upward, catching the raindrops on our tongues. With only God and maybe a few giraffes watching, we danced with sweet abandon and blessed the rains down in Africa. In the pale morning light, I peered through the sheer mosquito netting draped around my bed. Someone had knocked on our door. Lily was up, pulling on her robe, which she'd hung to dry while we slept. She padded across the wood floor in stocking feet. Good morning, Afi said softly. He held up the bucket of pellets for the giraffes. May I come in? Lily welcomed him and then followed as he led the way onto the balcony. I hurried to join them outside in the freshly washed morning light. The rain clouds had scurried along some time during the night. The air was cool, carrying a faint scent of grass. A fine mist rose from the earth, draping the slender trees in a sheer veil, the way the mosquito nets had enveloped our princess beds. We drew our robes tighter and watched two giraffes emerge from their ethereal camouflage in the wooded area. They sauntered toward us as if in a dream, as if they had just exited Noah's Ark. The closer they came, the more magnificent the prehistoric yet seemingly tame beauties appeared. In that moment, if Afi had told us they would talk to us, I would have believed him. And so, read the rest of the story to find out what happened.
Yes, read the best.
And I wanted to read that part because I think that was one of the most remarkable things that happened on the trip when I was at the, this is from Giraffe Manor, and when I was there on a balcony with the giraffes coming toward us so elegantly and held out my hand with the pellets, and I fed a giraffe out of the palm of my hand, and you just, this sense that God's creation is astounding and we have no idea. And that's why I really love to write these travel stories, because to show a woman who gets out of the normal circumstances and sees the greatness of God, you're radically changed forever. So yeah, that was a favorite memory of the trips, is meeting a giraffe face to face.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, they have those uh closed circuit cameras where that are watching pregnant giraffes waiting for them to give birth. Yeah. I mean, we have this fascination. And don't you think that when we are like attuned to animals, especially in that unique situation, it's just like a little taste of the Garden of Eden.
Exactly. You kind of go, I can see now how it was such a loss to be cut off
Yeah.
from God totally. For I mean, that fellowship, that daily fellowship. But wow, the communion that Adam and Eve had with all of creation, that was lost. And all creation groans, waiting for the day when Christ will return. And I kind of felt that too. So
Amen.
yeah.
Oh, yes, I love it. So, Robin, tell me what you're working on next. Is it the next book in the series?
Yes. Well, first I have a gift book that comes out in 2025 in May.
Okay.
And the gift book, this is really different for me. That's why I wanted to mention it, but it's called By the Sea. And we have lived most of our years, and I grew up near the ocean. So I have lots of a deep love for the sea and the beach and all that's connected with that. And a publisher came to me and said, would you like to write a gift book about the sea, the ocean? So I wrote little devotions and stories and poems and verses, and there's pictures on every page because it's a coffee table book, a gift book. And it turned out beautifully. So a very different project, and it comes out, yeah, next year, so By the Sea. But then uh, next fall is the release of the next Suitcase Sister book, and that one, I can tell you, it's set in Italy.
Ooh.
And I love the cover because it has the two women in the story and their Vespas eating gelato, and it's just everything you want Italy to be. So that
Yes.
comes out next year. And I'm working on the third one in the series right now, but that's still too vague to say much about. But the second one, I have a, I don't know, I have a deep affection. I've been to Italy a couple times and I love being able to write all the favorite things. The only thing was I had the characters take a cooking class in
Ooh.
Tuscany, and I don't cook. And it was a challenge to write about.
To write
So,
authentically.
yes. So true to form, one of the characters just doesn't, she's me. Like she doesn't really hand cooking, but her friend that she's traveling with, this is her dream come true. And I learned a lot. And I have a friend who loves to cook and bake, and she helped me with some of the recipes to make sure when we put them in the back of the book. I said, you're going to have to try these because I don't know if I put the ingredients in there, if it'll turn out okay. And we taste tested them and they're great.
That's good. And by the way, there are recipes in the back of
Yes.
Tea with Elephants as
Yes,
well.
and what's really fun is there's another author that you may love as much as I do, Kit Tosello. Her newest novel came out just a couple months ago, The Color of Home. And Kit and her husband own a tea shop in Sisters,
Yes.
Oregon. Yes. And so Kit and I got on the phone and I said, hey, tea with elephants, like what can we do about that? And she said, you mentioned tea in the book? And I said, oh, yeah, in the very first pages, the masala chai tea, because I watched my friend making it in her home and drank it. And it was like, oh, that flavor is
Aromatic
African.
too.
Yes, yes, the
Mhm.
spices. And so Kit blended a masala chai tea, and you can go to Subtle Tea, Suttle, Subtle Tea Company, and order the masala chai tea, and it has a little book cover on the cover. I don't have one right here to show you, but yes, so that's really fun. And what we did is in my online shop, we put a book club box. So if you're going to do a book club, you get the book, you get the tea, you get the handouts, you get the bookmarks, and we put it all together as the special gift for hostesses for book clubs.
Well, that's so fun.
It
That's so
was,
fun. Yeah, I loved Kit's book. Now that wasn't that her debut novel?
yes, for a
Yeah.
maiden voyage, that was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. And it was very kind of had some similar elements like you with, leaving your comfort zone
Yes.
and yeah. So loved it. Loved it. So for this interview, I asked Robin kind of a fun question, and that is, what is the silliest thing that you've ever done?
Well, there's just a few too many to mention. But one that came to mind because we were talking about, traveling with friends, and I have a very good writer friend who's from the Netherlands, and I've been blessed with so many friends around the world, but Anne and I did a writing retreat when I was in Europe, and she said, "Come to the Canary Islands. We have an apartment there that I'm going to." And Canary Islands are off the coast of West Africa. I didn't even know when she asked me to go there. Where is that? And so I went, and we happened to be there for our writing retreat time um, when there was a really big soccer game for the Netherlands. And they're football. I'm sorry, not soccer, football. So they're very loyal to their football teams. So I showed up and Anne had a special outfit for me. It was orange, their color, um, like lederhosen made out of nylon that was short with a lion's tail coming out the back because they're the lions, and then these hats. And so yeah, she made me wear it. We just wore it over our clothes because it was kind of silly. And we went to this restaurant where everyone had gathered in Las Palmas for this big soccer match. And we walked in swinging our lines tails. So I don't know. That was pretty silly. And we kind of fit in, which is really funny because I thought they're going to kick us out of the restaurant. She goes, oh no, trust me, everybody really gets into it. And we did, and we cheered, and we had a lot of fun, but that was silly.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so cute, especially the swing in the tail. That's
Yes, yes.
great. Well, on that note, for this month's A2A giveaway, Robin will be giving away a soft copy. See, Tyndale calls it a soft copy, and I think Revell calls it a paperback.
Paperback, yes.
Yeah. So a paperback copy of Tea with Elephants. So
Mhm.
we just want to thank Karen at Revell for providing that for our winner this month. Now, you can increase your chances of winning this wonderful giveaway by liking, commenting, and sharing and subscribing. And then over on my website, also subscribing. And if you're already a subscriber, as long as you share, copy, and leave a comment, you get those extra subscribe entries as well. Now, just a caveat that the entries are from the contiguous US only, unfortunately. So, Robin, do you have any words to share as we sign off?
I was thinking how grateful I am for readers because we have, and you know this too, we have incredibly supportive and loyal readers. And I just wanted to say thank you for those who have followed and look forward to the next book or who have sent notes of encouragement because writing is difficult, no matter how many books you've written or how long you've done it. And I just, I, I get filled up when I hear from a reader how God used a story to draw them closer to Him or something that just struck them as really encouraging. And so, yeah, I wanted to add that because we we do what we do, I believe fully, because this is something God called me to do. He gifted me to be a storyteller. He made a way, He provided opportunity, but it's really the readers that keep us going in so many ways. Not only from all the things you're saying to like and support and all the kind of mechanics of
Yeah.
how to signal to a publisher, we want more books by this person, because that's so important. But just that sense of, again, the fellowship, like we were talking about, we were kind of cut off during pandemic-y times from having that communication, but to be able to be in these, even if it's just online, but these sweet, like author reader relationships, it's a sweet fellowship, and I'm so grateful for it and really appreciate all the support. Um, because I think I just want to add that it just in general, any author that you really like, it will make a difference if they continue to write or not if you buy their book. Not a used copy because that doesn't track to the publisher, but if you kind of let your voice be heard by spending that $15 or whatever it is. I think most books with all the discounts now are more down to $12. You can
Yeah.
get them. It's I mean, really, and to be able to say, I'm going to support this author by doing this, it'll make a difference. Because I guess I want to say that because over the years, when you get a lot of letters saying, how come you're not still writing this series, or why didn't you add more to this? And because I work with traditional publishers, if the sales aren't there, that ends the series. And it's hard to explain that sometimes. So I'm excited about the Suitcase Sisters, and I really hope that I can keep writing more books in the series. And it's the readers that make that happen,
Make that
truly.
happen. Yes. And also, just one little step further, if you can go to to Amazon, to Barnes and Noble, if you're part of BookBub, and leave a review. It really does, even if it's just a couple lines,
Yes.
and share how much and why you like that book. It really does help. There's all these algorithms that go on in the background, but the long and short of it is that publishers do notice that, and you want to keep those series going.
Yes, please.
So thanks everyone for watching the 47th interview episode. And one last reminder to be sure and check out the description section that has all those great links for Robin, and also for my social media as well. And just remember that we do, as Robin was saying, we do appreciate all those likes and comments and um, purchases, whether it's a book in paper form or whether it's an ebook. We really appreciate that. Now, next month, my A2A featured author is best-selling and multi-award winning author Julie Klassen. And thanks, Robin.
Oh, that's great. I'll definitely be listening to that one.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. You've been a great guest, and I have been looking forward to this for so long. And I can't wait for your next book. So, viewers, thanks again for watching. See you next month. In the meantime, God bless and keep reading.
Keep reading indeed.